Hey everyone.
Hi.
How are you? Welcome to our Facebook Live. We have a lot of exciting things to cover today. We're mostly, as we said when we posted around, going to focus on the solo co-op for the upcoming Sorcerer Kickstarter. But before then, we had a couple quick things to chat about. Rob, you were going to
Yeah,
talk
so
about the winners of our tournaments.
we had some really exciting tournaments. So as everybody knows, all conventions are currently canceled because of the ongoing COVID situation. So we haven't been able to get together with our fans and run the big tournaments that we often do at shows. So we actually ran some tournaments digitally. So we have our Legend series. It's a super cool series where the winner of the event becomes a card in the game. So we make them onto a card, and they'll be featured on a card in a future set. And of course, those future sets end up rolling into the app. So eventually, they'll be in the game in both physical and digital. And we had on Friday we had an epic Legend series, and on Saturday we had a Star Realms Legend series. So our epic, this was our first large epic event that we did online. We had 31 players, and our champion was BMC Fluff, Benjamin Kosman, who went undefeated in the tournament. So congratulations, and we're looking forward to making you into a card. And then on Star Realms, we had, I believe it was 124 players, and our champion was Kolak, Sander Kolak, and Mega Holland posted an interview with him over on the Star Realms fan creative page. So you can go check that out. And congratulations to both our winners. Yeah, it was really exciting to see the communities engaged and playing. Just a really awesome showing this weekend. So thank you very much, guys.
And I just want to mention that we got a lot of feedback that people were asking on the Facebook pages and groups, oh, are you going to do more of these? We'd like to do more. So we are going to do more. We'll keep you updated. You know where to find us. But I'm submitting for Gen Con and Spiel. I'm talking with S and Spiel team as well. They're looking at running tournaments there, which they've never done. So again, it'll be virtual. Anyone can go from anywhere, but it'll be associated with that event. I also want to thank Joel from our team. So we decided, since Adam Lackmancy's done a great job running some of our tournaments in the past, but since we had so many people that were going to be attending, we wanted someone from the digital team to actually run the tournaments. But Joel has never run a tournament, or I don't even know if he's played in a big tournament like that before. So he had a lot of learning to do, but I think he did great.
Yeah.
So you probably have seen him in Discord if you've been in our Discord channel. And I wanted to mention, just for everyone, if you missed the Hero Realms Kickstarter, that the Ancestry pack is out today in stores. This allows you to play as your favorite ancestry, like you can play as an orc or a small folk, in addition to playing your character. So you choose your character. I don't know if
I mean, this pack is small, but it has a really big impact on the game, because you get a skill card that goes out on the table the whole time, adds a couple cards to your starting deck, and it modifies your starting health and can modify in slight modification of the rules from play from your Ancestry card. So basically, this will be impacting your game the whole time, much like when you choose to play a fighter versus a wizard, that impacts your game the whole time. So it also massively increases your matchup potential if you're playing PvP. So not only can you do things like, oh, we'll play cleric versus thief. Now you can let's do a dwarven cleric versus an elven thief, and you could be all the different race class combos. So it brings the potential matchups just astronomically up, and also super cool for the campaign, because now you can customize your character even further, and add a race to with your class. So you have your ancestry and your class together to really define your character further. And just awesome pack. Check it out.
I'm hoping to get us set up for live streaming board games here so we can play that and live stream it. I think that would be really fun and play the campaigns. Oh, I also wanted to mention, because when I sent out the email, because we also do emails for everyone that's subscribed to our mailing list about the Hero Realms release, I got some questions about pre-orders. So if you were a retail store and you did the pre-release kit, we had some issues, but basically, if you haven't received your pre-release kit or your pre-order, those orders have been processed and either are sent out or will be going out. And then I'm talking with Quartermaster today, but they are imminently coming out, and I apologize for the delay on that. I will say that if you pre-ordered on our site, we did ship all the products, which someone asked the question, only Ancestry packs available in retail right now out of the new products. And over the summer, we'll be releasing the other products. Katie can post a link to the blog post. Over time, we'll have like the Adventure Storage Box and the Lost Village. We don't want to like overwhelm the retail stores with a lot of products all at once because there's so much in each of these products. But if for people that did pre-order, they'll get everything that they pre-ordered on our site. And part of that was to encourage people to support their retail stores with our online social distancing program. Let's see. Oh, I also just wanted to mention there's an official Hero Realms discussion group. So, if you're a Hero Realms fan and you're not aware, we have a discussion group, and there's lots of people ask questions, because when you start playing the campaign, you start playing the Ancestry pack, people will be like, is this more powerful? How do you use that? And how do these cards work? It's a great place. So it's called the Hero Realms official discussion group. And there's also really cool Facebook RPG that a few times a week we ask a question and you vote on how you want the story to unfold for an adventure. So that's pretty cool too. I know a lot of people joined to hear about the Sorcerer Kickstarter.
It's coming.
So now I'm going to hand off to Rob. And Rob, we have some questions about why the delay. I don't know if you have any commentary on that. And then people are eager to hear the details of the solo co-op play. So when you're ready, I can put up the images and block myself out.
So for why the delay, basically, there's a lot that goes into putting putting a Kickstarter page together, like visuals and videos, and so a lot of graphic design, video editing, etc. And sometimes these things just end up taking us a little longer than we expected. So it's not game component related. The delays there. It's graphic design, video editing. Related stuff. So we obviously Kickstarter page has to look awesome to show how awesome the game is. So we're almost there, like basically. So we'll be next week, a week from today, 10 a.m. We are launching the Kickstarter. And previously, I've talked about the character lineage, one of the characters, and one of the domain packs. Today, I want to talk about Endbringer itself. So the Kickstarter has got both 2 new characters, 2 new lineages, 2 new domains, but it also has Endbringer, which is a solo co-op expansion for Sorcerer. So with Endbringer, you'll be able to play alone or with your friends against the game. And Peter Schultz, the designer of Sorcerer, and his playtest team have done a really awesome job creating super cool mechanics that have fantastic solo and co-op play, and have the same kind of replayability that you expect from Sorcerer itself. So in Sorcerer, you combine, to make your personal Sorcerer, you combine a character pack, a lineage pack, and a domain pack. The character is who you are, the lineage is what type of magic you've inherited, and the domain is where you've been training and gathering followers. And you shuffle those together. There's cover cards for each, and that determines who you are, gives you your special abilities during the game, and it makes it so that there is phenomenal replayability. You can play hundreds of different combinations of these, which is a ton of fun. And in the Endbringer, for the bad guy we've done the same thing. So basically, in Endbringer, you're going to be fighting against a crazed demigod known as a man-eater, and this is, and you create the man-eater by choosing a nemesis, which is who they are, an aspect, which is what type of magic and followers they have, and it determines what army they're controlling, and then a scenario which determines special rules and victory conditions for the game. So this is an example of the Man-Eater card. This is Erling Khan, and you'll see, so you've got, and this card is oversized. I'm going to show you a physical mock-up next. So this is, here's a Tegu card, and here is the Erling Khan card. So you can see that it's nice and large. So that's cool when you're playing multiplayer. It's big on the table. You can, everybody can see who you're fighting against. And you'll see that you've got the name in the middle top there. Then underneath that, there's special rules for that particular character. So Erling Khan gets hate counters that he builds up, and they, when he gets enough of them, they'll deal damage that is assigned, that players have to assign either to their minions or to themselves. And then underneath that, you'll see these colorful icons. Hero Realms players will probably recognize this. Basically, we've got colorful icons with different effects listed next to them. These are the Khan's actions. So basically, during the course of the game, you're going to have him doing different things. So when you're playing, the player, every time a player takes an action, it's followed by Khan taking an action. And the action that he takes is determined by flipping a card from the Nemesis deck. So this oversized card comes with its own deck. So there'll be 4 different demigods you can play against, and each one of them has their own Nemesis deck. And every time you need to see what the bad guy's doing in the game, you'll flip over the top card of the Nemesis deck. And the Nemesis deck has these cards which have text in various spots. So at the top, you'll see the name, and then there's this colorful icon that could be any of the colors that are on the Khan card. And then there's an effect listed at the top and an effect listed at the bottom. So in various points of the game, you'll be referencing different parts of those. So for example, after you take an action, maybe you gain energy or play a card, then the Nemesis will flip over the top card of the Nemesis deck, and you will reference that to the color on underneath the name there and do the action that's listed there. So that is the Nemesis card. Then they'll also have an aspect card. So for example, we have King of the Dead here, and this one has same setup on the card. It's got the name of the card, any special rules underneath that, and then the various colors for effects. These effects happen when the enemy minions attack. The enemy minions don't roll dice like the player's minions do. Instead, they'll do damage equal to their attack value, but there's a card flipped over, and you check the color versus the color underneath the name on the aspect card, and this will determine which tactic that minion's using. So basically, their attack has a random effect, but it's much faster than rolling the dice. Just flip over a card and you check the tactic, and of course, a whole variety of stuff can happen. Different tactics for each of the different aspect cards. And then finally, each time you play, you'll have a scenario card, and the scenario card will have different setup rules. So the setup will change in different games. Maybe they have extra minions in play. Maybe there's special zones with rules on how those work. Any special rules that apply during the game. So for example, in this leading the evasion, every time the bad guy puts a minion into play, it's going to weaken one of the minions on your side, and any special victory conditions. Now, in Endbringer, this is a fight to the death. It's not a fight for control of domains, control the battlefields like it is in the base set Sorcerer. So in Endbringer, the players themselves will have a personal defense, and so basically 30 per player as their personal defense. And if the player's defense goes down to 0, bad guy wins, players lose. And in each of the battlefields, there's one of these symmetry cards. Now these represent the bad guy's health. So there'll be one of these per player per battlefield. So and in order to win, you have to destroy all of the symmetry cards and survive till the end of the turn. Unlike in regular Sorcerer, when in regular Sorcerer, when you win in a battlefield, all fighting stops there. Here, you taking out the symmetry card in that location doesn't stop the battle. The battle will continue, and the enemy minions will continue to attack and be chipping away at your minions and your team's personal defense. So you have to both take out your nemesis and survive that final turn. Now, each of these cards, there's a bunch of different ones that come with the set, and when you play, you shuffle them up and you lay them down on the table, one per player in the game per battlefield. So if Debbie and I were doing a 2-player game, there'd be 2 of these aspect cards in each battlefield. So we'd have basically 18 health in each battlefield that we're trying to take out. But when you take one of these out, it triggers a special power from the nemesis. Basically, he's lashing out in revenge, and you flip the card over, and there will be an effect. So every time you play, because you've shuffled these up, you don't know which ones you're seeing, and you'll have different ones in different games. You'll have all kinds of different effects happening as you're taking out the symmetry cards. So as you're dealing damage to them, knocking out the cards, some big powerful effects can happen. So the Storm of Souls one can be very chaotic because it's going to be taking minions, killing some of them, moving others. Both the minions controlled by the nemesis and the player's minions will be affected by these. The creation of the minions that you're fighting against every single turn at the beginning of the turn in every battlefield, you're going to be flipping over cards from the Horde deck. Now, the Horde deck there's different Horde decks. Each aspect card comes with a different Horde. So there's different armies that you'll be fighting against. And so, for example, the King of the Dead has this swarm of undead at the beginning of the game. You're going to be putting that one has a special rule where you, instead of having random minions at the beginning of the game, it starts with the rotting followers. And you put a rotting follower in each of the battlefields, and then one for each player in the game. And then on future turns, you're going to be getting random minions at the beginning of the turn added to the battlefield. So I'll show you a couple examples of minions you could face. Each of these minions will have different special abilities. Some have abilities that are permanently affecting. Others have abilities that when they come into play. For example, the Dread Shrieker will basically be putting extra minions into play when he comes out. Gives you you flip again and put another minion into play. That additional minion doesn't get its when it enters play ability. And then this guy's really nasty. When he comes in, he's gonna kill a minion in your location. If you don't have a minion there, then it's going to deal damage directly to the players. And so each Horde deck has a whole bunch of different minions in it, much like the character. When you create your character, you have a whole bunch of different minions in your pool. And every turn, minions are going to be coming out. Now, with the King of the Dead, he had a lot of tactics where he's going to be putting extra minions into play. So sometimes when a minion attacks, you're going to get a tactic where you're getting a minion coming out of the discard pile or a minion coming out of the top of the horde deck. And of course, each aspect will have different things they do. This one is, of course, really good at bringing up armies of undead. But with the different combos, you're going to have different challenges you're fighting against. So this game has a ton of different challenges that are going to be coming up. So there's some stuff that you can plan around. You'll see how the board's developing, and you'll be making plans to fight the various enemies in different ways. And then there's some stuff that is impossible to plan around. You know something's going to happen, but you don't know what. Like when you take out one of those aspect cards and they flip it over. And then another big factor that makes the battle phase really exciting is during the battle, you're going to have effects happening that are directed by the nemesis themselves. So we have the nemesis has an oversized standee. So this is the Tegu standee. This is the standee for Khan. And this standee actually straddles two different battlefields at the same time. And basically those two battlefields represent where Khan's focusing his attention. And the other battlefield, still fighting there, still has minions there. You can still damage him there. However, that's kind of his blind spot. He sort of turned his back to that location and is concentrating on the other ones. So in the two locations where Khan is in, one, his minions get to attack first in that battlefield. So he'll make the first attack, then you'll make an attack back and forth. And also at the beginning of the battle phase, you flip over the top card of the deck and you get that top effect on there, which could give his guys bonuses, kill your minions, do damage based on his hate counters, all kinds of different things that can come up in those. So you have all kinds of sort of powerful big effects that are happening, and it really feels like you're playing against an opponent who has their own agenda and their own plans. So that's a quick overview of the Endbringer mechanics. We'll of course have a playthrough video on the Kickstarter page, so you can watch a game being played through. And I got to say, the solo play, for those who are into solo play is actually really, really cool. You have a whole lot of interesting decisions to make, a lot of like really high tension rolls. The play is quite dynamic, and the team play, of course, is also great. I find it a little more challenging to make a game where the team play is, or the solo play is as exciting as the team play. And I think Endbringer really has done a great job with that. The solo and the team are really fun, really interesting, really exciting play. So that's the Endbringer overview. Do you have any questions on the?
And they're not going to make it easy for you to win if you've ever played our other campaigns,
yeah.
cooperative campaigns.
Yeah, no, we'll have different difficulty modes in the role. So if you want to, if you consider yourself an uber expert and want to crank up the difficulty a little, we'll have just like we have in the Hero Realms campaigns. There'll be standard way to play, but then if you want to make things a little more devastating or a little easier, there'll be little tweaks that you can make.
So we got wow, and I'm excited. No specific questions, but if anyone thinks of specific questions, you can add it here, because we'd love to know what your questions are. So when we go live with the Kickstarter page, we're ready to answer those questions. Did you have something else?
No. Oh, I was just seeing someone said the artwork looked fantastic, and indeed it does. The art in Sorcerer is just stunning. If you own the base set or and the Kickstarter exclusives from the first campaign, you'll know what I'm talking about. And in Endbringer and the new sets, the art continues to be just absolutely gorgeous. Just really, really beautiful visuals.
what is the player count for co-op?
Oh, co-op. So it's 1 to 3 players. So you can play solo, 2 or 3 players together. If you want to play beyond 3, you have to do the you can't do the Endbringer. You can do the various PvP modes.
Mm-hmm. And I know many of you are Sorcerer fans, but if anyone here isn't familiar with Sorcerer and you want to see what it's all about, our friends Stella and Tarrant from Meeple University are going to be live streaming. They contacted me. They wanted to live stream one of our games, and I was like, oh, I'd love for you to live stream Sorcerer. They're going to be doing that this weekend. Katie can post a link below, and if you can share it around, I would love, I really, really want as many people as possible to see Sorcerer and hear about it, because it is absolutely awesome. And, you know, the new stuff is awesome too, but the base game is also incredible. So they're going to be live streaming the base game. And yeah, we're excited about that.
Yeah, I saw a question come by on, you know,
oh yeah,
how long will it take for the actual delivery? You know, we're estimating a year for delivery. The development is indeed, you know, the design is done on these things. We're in the development stage where there's tweaking and testing. Oh, this is a little too powerful. It's a little too weak. Tweak this mechanic a little bit. But we tend to be really perfectionists on things. You know, we can go back and forth for quite a while tweaking that play to make it just perfect. When we do things with the printer, we'll make samples, we'll go back and forth with them multiple times, trying to you know, fine tune stuff. So things always, you know, it seems like we're at the last 10%, but but that's where our sort of perfectionism comes in, and that can end up taking, you know, that ends up taking a while. So basically, you know, we're looking at delivery next summer for people who back.
And someone did ask about getting the previous packs. Do you want to talk about?
Oh yeah,
so if you don't have the base game or the Kickstarter exclusive.
Yeah, so we'll have for people who don't have Sorcerer at all, we're going to have a tier that's available, which will be just everything. So basically, you'll be able to get all the base game, all the Kickstarter exclusives from the first go round, and the new stuff, and the special price for all that stuff together. And it's a lot of cool stuff. And you'll be able to play up to 6 players in the various PvP modes, and of course the co-op for 1 to 3 players. And you'll get everything. If you own Sorcerer but don't have the Kickstarter exclusives from the last campaign, we will have the ability to add on Kickstarter exclusives from previous campaigns, as we do with all our Kickstarters. So when we make a Kickstarter exclusive, we basically have like a Kickstarter exclusive vault of all our Kickstarter exclusives. And when we do a new Kickstarter, the old stuff is available. So you'll be able to buy those individual Kickstarter exclusive packs from the previous from the stretch goals from the previous Kickstarter. Those will be available. In addition to, if you missed us, cool Star Realms Kickstarter exclusive from the past, you want to add it on there. We're also going to have for those who don't have Sorcerer at all and want to get the everything tier but don't want to wait for the base set, we're going to have a special tier where you can basically get 2 shipments. One that'll happen shortly after the Kickstarter ends with the old content, the base set and the Kickstarter exclusive, etc., from the first campaign, and a second shipment with the Endbringer content. Now that'll be more expensive because you'll end up paying for shipping twice. It's always cheaper to ship 1 big box with lots of stuff than 2 slightly smaller boxes. So the shipping price will be a little bit higher if you decide to go that method, but you can get the stuff, the old stuff, right away if you want. And Debbie, who deals with our logistics, absolutely loves
Still trying to get the sleeves out to the Heroes backers, and I'll be posting an update if someone asked that question above. It is, Yeah, the back end, I know it's probably seems simple. You're just shipping stuff out to people. It is so complicated.
Yeah,
And
so
especially now, there's just so many additional things.
Yeah, worldwide fulfillment, dealing with different factories. There's different shutdowns in different areas, and yeah, it's a lot. But
if Rob says we're gonna have 2 fulfillment waves, then we're gonna have 2 fulfillment waves.
Oh man. Yes.
We had a couple other questions. Any thoughts on 3D standees, like miniatures or plastic standees?
So basically, this is something that's come up before, and we do have some pretty amazing sculptors who amongst our artists. So the answer is we don't have it right now, but it is something that we've sort of thought about for Sorcerer as a possible add-on. Now, the minis are expensive, especially big, cool looking ones. So, but it's something that we've thought about, and it'd be sweet. Not in this campaign is the answer, yes, but it's something we might do down the road.
And then a couple people have asked, can everything fit in the first box? So Rob designed the box awesome to fit extra stuff, but then he and Peter made so much extra stuff.
Yeah. So basically, all the Endbringer content, there's a lot. So basically, you've got you've got 4 different horde decks, you've got 4 different nemesis decks, you've got the 4 oversized standees. There's some additional battlefields, and basically lots and lots of content. So that stuff will not fit in the base set box. But Endbringer will have a sweet box of its own, designed to hold lots of stuff. So between the 2 boxes, you should be able to hold it just fine. With the additional characters, lineages, and domains, basically it depends on how many things we unlock during the stretch goal. So we've got a lot of additional characters, lineages, and domains, cool stuff that we we've worked on, which are potential stretch goals. I'm not exactly sure how much content we have. So the answer is likely you'll be able to, all the stuff for PvP play, you'll likely be able to fit into the base Sorcerer box because it's got extra room for extra characters, lineages, and domains. But the Endbringer stuff, if you want the solo co-op, you'll want to have that second box because as I said, there's a lot in there. So that would be more than you could hold in the base set box.
Will there be dividers for the new sets?
They'll for in the Endbringer box itself, there'll be the ability to sort stuff as there was. We've had a lot of requests for specialized dividers, like one for each character, lineage, and domain that goes in the game of higher quality, like the stuff that you see in the Star Realms and Hero Realms box. That's not part of the campaign, but that's something where it could potentially be an add-on if there's enough demand from the backers for it, because the production time on those is much lower than new sculpts, for example. So
thanks, Rachel. You're awesome too. Okay, and then we had, so if anyone has any other questions, feel free to ask them. We wanted to talk about, I guess I'll say this. I'm going to ask for a favor here. With the Kickstarter going live and the new Heroes packs going out into retail, a lot of people will jump over to Board Game Geek and check out, like, what do people think about this game? So if you like our games and you have a couple minutes and you have a Board Game Geek account, we would really appreciate it if you could go over there and rate our games. It's not something we usually ask people to do, but around the time we're doing Kickstarters, when there's an extra amount of people over there looking. If you don't like our games, you don't need to go and vote. I'm just kidding. But yeah, we really appreciate that. And there already are a lot of people. Many of you probably have already done.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who's already rated us. And if you don't have a Board Game Geek account, it's actually pretty quick to make one. So if you like this stuff and you want to you want to help grow the community, great way to do it. Hop over to Board Game Geek. And and do give a rating, or if you have time, you can write a review. But just clicking a rating is helpful. It adds to the people can see how many people like the game, and of course the higher ratings help bring up the average of the game as a whole. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you're a Sorcerer fan, I also want to mention if you like Facebook groups, there's an official Sorcerer discussion group. So I personally really like Facebook groups, so I just want to mention that as well, so people know that exists. And we have a couple more questions. So any approximate price point info? I had someone message me about this as well.
So basically, very similar to the first Sorcerer Kickstarter. So if you're sort of looking at, okay, what's the cost ballpark, basically the same as the first Sorcerer Kickstarter.
And then, is it a big box like the original,
yes,
or a small box?
So the Endbringer, it'll be a big box like like the original game. So it's not a little box like the Hero Realms or Star Realm stuff. This is a big box like. As I said, there's a lot of components that go into the Endbringer set, so it's a big, cool, awesome box, just like the Sorcerer base game.
And someone asked, what is your personal favorite deck mashup from the base game? Personally, I'm a Maselda fan, and I love to be a vampire, so I tend to be the Blood Lord, which, for those who haven't played Sorcerer, you get a blood pool, and you get special skills as you suck people's blood.
Yeah, I like airspeeds a lot. That's the ability to like dig those attachment to weapons out of the deck and put them on my guys. And I love playing as the Necromancer. Basically, bring out swarms of guys, being able to basically throw cannon fodder in battlefields, to suck up the damage. And I like playing the Outcast Sanctuary with the Necromancer to be able to like sacrifice my guys and get rid of zombies who are going to be coming back anyway, and get those bonus effects. So, but like. I love drafting. Just like, okay, you're sitting down to play, and you pick a character, they pick a character, they get first pick on lineage because you got first pick on character. They pick a lineage, you pick a lineage, and then then I pick a domain, you pick a domain. Then you can sort of react like, oh, they're playing this. I've got I wanna counter it with these and also that sort of one of the great things about Sorcerer is the decks change every time. So playing different mix-ups, it's a lot of fun, and the combos that each deck that each deck brings, it's like you're playing a constructed deck designed to do specific things, even though you just grabbed one from pile A, one from pile B, one from pile C, and shuffled them together. There's really a lot of cool combos that come up through the course of play. So I love mixing them all.
Peter says he likes the same combo. I want to hear what other people like. So if you have a favorite, post it below. I'm sure you probably modify based on what your opponent's doing, like Rob does, but love to hear it. We had a couple other questions. Will there be any rule changes to the core game or errata as part of this release?
Yes. So we have a tweak that we're making to the flying rules. Make it a little bit better for the various play modes. But generally speaking, the rules are staying as they are. And of course we have a whole new set of rules for the solo co-op play. It's pretty easy to pick up if you've already played Sorcerer, but there's a lot of cool new content there.
And just as it seems like we might be winding down, we got a question about what's happening with the Kapow Kickstarter. And,
Yes.
is that on the horizon?
Yeah. So Kapow is so we've got a whole bunch of really cool projects that we're working on, and we've got a big team with with people in different locations. We've got artists all around the world. We've got game designers in various locations. For example, we've got Peter in Europe, and we got Darren and me here. We've got contractors in various spots, and the guys did the design of Kapow, New Englanders. So basically, we have a whole bunch of trains moving forward at the same time, and Kapow, we have artists working on some of the final pieces for the Kapow Kickstarter. We've been doing some like a lot of play testing and design development tweaks on Kapow. So that one's coming, and it'll probably be end of the summer time frame for the Kapow Kickstarter, and we're super excited about it. That game is really fun. I know some of our fans were lucky enough to be able to pick up a copy at the convention, last couple conventions we were at, and we're really excited to get the reprint of Kapow out, and of course Kapow Volume 2 with new heroes and new villains. So we've got some really great content coming for Kapow.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that too. And Christopher wants to know what's happening with Cat Realms.
So Debbie is lead on Cat Realms. So yeah. Well, that's might be coming. Might be coming soon.
Will there be a deck using 8-sided energy die for some interesting random effects?
All right, that's a cool idea. I will say the D8 does come up for various effects in the Endbringer. So, for example, each round when you're determining which 2 battlefields the giant nemesis standee is in, that you roll the D8 to determine that. You saw with the Storm of Souls card that we used the D8 for that. So basically, we're leaning on the existing components that come with the base set Sorcerer on the new stuff. But that's a really cool suggestion. I like it.
Yeah. All right, I think we're out of questions.
Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, thanks for joining. We'll see you next week. And next week, the Kickstarter will have launched when we hopefully. We usually launch it around 10 a.m. Eastern time. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.